The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services has released a new COVID-19 testing plan. The federal government says it'll buy and distribute 100 million testing kits to states by the end of the year. The plan says the country as a whole should be able to perform at least 40 million tests a month by September. How the tests will be carried out, however, is left up to the states. States will also be expected to coordinate contact tracing and monitor asymptomatic carriers.
Another vaccine designed to prevent COVID-19 is being used in human trials in Australia. Vaccine maker Novavax says the inoculation works by producing high levels of neutralizing antibodies. Tests on animals indicate the vaccine is effective in low doses. Novavax makers say human trials for safety and efficacy of the vaccine should begin by July. And if those results are promising, phase 2 of the trial will begin with more participants in more countries, including the United States.
The World Health Organization is halting its study into hydrochloroquine as a potential COVID-19 treatment, citing safety concerns. President Trump has promoted the drug as a treatment for the coronavirus, and he took it himself, he said. But the WHO stopped its study after research showed hospitalized COVID-19 patients treated with hydrochloroquine were more likely to die. The president says that's because they were the sickest patients.
A travel ban on Brazil goes into effect today. The White House initially announced the ban would start on Thursday, but moved up that date. Brazil has the second largest number of COVID-19 cases in the world, behind the U.S. There have been more than 370,000 cases and more than 23,000 deaths. Foreigners who have been to Brazil within the last 2 weeks will not be allowed to enter the United States. The president of Brazil has been dismissive of the seriousness of this pandemic, calling COVID-19 a little flu.
United and Delta Airlines both want to resume flights to China in June, but the United States is accusing China of making it difficult for U.S. carriers to do so. Tensions between the U.S. and China have spilled over into the airline industry. Delta and United have run into trouble, both of them getting their plans to resume flights approved by China's Civil Aviation Administration. And the U.S. now says it wants more regulatory power over U.S.-China routes taken by Chinese airlines.
Get a look at our first forecast now with Demetrius Ivory. Another nice day, Dee.
Yeah, how about yesterday? High temperature of 88 degrees during the afternoon. Extremely warm for Memorial Day. Today we're going to be, how about this? Just as warm. There's basically the same chance for rain today, about a 40% chance for rain. Showers and thunderstorms. I know we saw them across our region. The most severe ones were down to our south. But look now, already 80 degrees outside at Wegner School in West Chicago. Cortland's reading at 77 at this time. So again, really warm numbers that we're talking about at this time. And we're expecting to see these warm numbers continue to just kind of linger across the air. We're going to actually see highs this afternoon climb way up above these numbers. I'm going to go back to your sunrise forecast here. Our sunburn time is going to be 21 minutes at 1 p.m. today. 44 minutes at 4 p.m., excuse me, 77 minutes there. Basically, that's the same as yesterday. What that means is we're talking about strong sun. Obviously, it doesn't take very long to get a burn out there. So, keep that in mind. Give it a slow go. And the sun's going to be taxing again this afternoon. So these are the storm reports from yesterday, as I mentioned, mainly down to our southwest. A number of tornado reports. Also, lots of reports of heavy rain and also some large hail across areas south of us. Tonight, we expect that risk to be mainly to our west into today. There's your satellite radar composite. It generally shows rain continues out there in portions of western Iowa. We do have a little bit of a line of showers trying to kind of develop mainly across portions of northern Will County. We'll just watch that and see if it develops. But right now, though, nothing, I'd say, significant coming from that line. Here's your short-range computer model. What it shows is rain, but not covering much of the area. Only about 15, 20, maybe 30% of the region throughout today. And then into later tonight, a chance for showers. So we do run that 40% chance for rain throughout much of today. 84 right now, winds out of the south-southeast at 14 miles per hour. These are your current temps. We got 83 now, Chicago, 80 for Lansing, 79 Kankakee, 79 Joliet. Heat indices are high once again in the shade. When you factor in the humidity, it's going to feel like the mid-80s right now. These are your temps around the rest of the region. Now notice we're just kind of nestled in this area, this ridge of really warm air. 88 right now, Traverse City. The cooler air is out to our west, and it's not allowed to make its way here as there's just so much blocking going on in the atmosphere. What that means is systems aren't allowed to go from west to east. We have our current dew point sitting in the 60s. Current heat indices are sitting at 92 now for Fort Wayne, so it is quite warm. But just out to our west, rain cool numbers at this time. There's the satellite radar composite. What it shows is certainly showers and thunderstorms out to our west. We run the risk of some rain pulling into our area before this afternoon and evening are done. Now Wednesday, there's a better chance for rain as we start to make that very slow air mass shift. We're looking at a chance for showers and thunderstorms. I think for much of Wednesday into Thursday, that rain is certainly going to be likely. 88 going to be your high temperature today. Tomorrow we're up to 84. I think we would be in the mid 80s if it weren't for the potential for storms. Then into Thursday, we're up to about 80 with a 70% chance for storms. Coming up in the 7-day forecast, big sweeping change this weekend. We'll see temperatures drop in a big way, highs struggling to even get to the 70s, and also extended sunshine for a number of days in a row, which is just, I think, what a lot of gardeners and, well, just kind of folks who want to wash their car are looking for. Details in just a bit. Back to you in the studio.
That'll be great. Thanks, Steve.
The car wash forecast. Thanks.
The Justice Department is now investigating the shooting death of Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia as a hate crime. The attorney for Arbery's family says the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Georgia will look into why Glynn County and the state took more than 2 months to make arrests in this case. The U.S. attorney says he plans to file criminal and civil charges. Arbery was shot and killed by a father and son while jogging in late February. The two men, along with the man who videotaped the incident, were arrested earlier this month.
The FBI is joining the manhunt for a University of Connecticut college student who is suspected of 2 murders. His family wants him to turn himself in. Some technical difficulties, but police say Manfredonia abducted one of the victim's girlfriends and left the state with her. She was found uninjured in New Jersey. Manfredonia is believed to be armed with several stolen guns. Police say a person matching his description was seen along railroad tracks in Pennsylvania. His family's attorney says he has struggled with mental health issues.
The U.S. military is accusing Russia of sending fighter jets to Libya. U.S. Africa Command says these pictures show several aircraft that were deployed. They say the jets were sent to support private military contractors that are supported by the Russian government. The U.S. has accused Russia of using mercenaries to assist its side of Libya's civil war before. Officials suspect mercenary pilots will use the aircraft to bomb Libyans.
Still ahead, Chicago police officers receive a major donation to help them stay safe while patrolling city streets. Stay with us.
Illinois State Police are investigating a shooting on the Bishop Ford. A man was shot while driving southbound near 138th around 3:30 this morning. The southbound lanes were closed from 130th Street to Beaubien Woods around 4:30 until 7. The 41-year-old victim suffered non-life-threatening injuries and was taken to the hospital after talking with police.
Several carjackings in Roseland prompts a community alert. The attacks happened on May 15th at 112th and Normal, May 20th at 100th and Halsted, and May 23rd at 107th and Eggleston. Police say the offenders showed a gun and demanded the vehicles. The crimes occurred during the late evening to the early morning hours, and if you have any information, you're asked to call police.
Chicago police also searching for this vehicle as they investigate a fatal hit and run. Police say it happened around 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon at Harrison and Canal. A young woman was struck and killed. Investigators say the car went northbound on Canal with 3 suspects inside they believe stole the vehicle from the parking lot of a 7-Eleven in Lakeview earlier in the day. The vehicle is a purple or blue Ford Escape with front-end damage.
The beaches of Illinois and Indiana were a study in contrast on Memorial Day. Chicago's beaches remain closed, so people often had to find their sunshine in city parks and other open spaces. Others crossed the state line because Indiana doesn't have the same restrictions.
Time for the Buzz now. Dean Richards is here with us. Hi, Dean.
Hello there, everybody. Good morning. If you have seen Matthew McConaughey in those commercials for Lincoln, you now see that partnership is doing some good during the pandemic. The Oscar winner tweeted out this picture of him, his wife Camilla, and a pickup truck full of boxes. They're delivering 110,000 masks to hospitals in rural parts of Texas, all of it donated by Lincoln. The McConaugheys thanked them and have also donated masks to frontline workers in Austin and New Orleans. COVID-19's been devastating for the elderly, but not this elder. Betty White turned 98 years old this past January. She put out a note over the weekend saying she's okay and that she's grateful to be able to make her life at home as peaceful as possible. The former Golden Girl star said that she spends her days reading and playing Scrabble and doing puzzles and enjoying the occasional vodka martini and snacking on hot dogs and French fries. Betty says, "We have come through worse than this. It's Mother Nature's way of telling us all to slow down." Queen guitarist Brian May is recuperating from a heart attack. He said that it all started when he injured his backside while gardening, suffered several severe back pain, and MRI revealed he had a compressed nerve in his spine. While dealing with that, he then went through 40 minutes of chest pain and tightness. Turns out that he had 3 blocked arteries. May had stents put in, and instead of having triple bypass surgery, is now feeling much better. Country music singer Morgan Wallen is apologizing after he was arrested for misdemeanor public intoxication and disorderly conduct. Nashville police arrested him on Saturday night after he was kicked out of a bar that was owned by Kid Rock. Wallen apologized on Twitter, saying that he was horsing around with friends and the group didn't mean any harm. He is due in court in July. So this week, the new online platform HBO Max will make its debut. It'll give you many more at-home options, including the Looney Tunes library.
What's up, Jack? That's it!
There you go. HBO Max will be kicking off tomorrow. You forget how many memorable characters they have.
Call me nostalgic, call me old, go ahead, but those are the best cartoons.
Those are the best cartoons.
Could watch them all day long.
Same here.
Coming up, the New York Stock Exchange trading floor reopens with new rules for employees, including a mandate on how they're allowed to get to work.
It pains me to say that 3 of these shooting victims were juveniles. As strange as it may seem, juvenile shootings were actually down by 57% compared to last year. Still, the juveniles that survived these shootings will never be the same. The mental scars of being involved in such a traumatic incident linger long after the physical wounds have closed. This unacceptable level of violence happened while Chicago remains under the stay-at-home order meant to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Chicago police issued roughly 300 group dispersals orders each day this weekend, 300 each day. Most individuals complied with the order, and I want to thank those that stayed at home this weekend. But the stay-at-home order did little to prevent violence, particularly in the parts of the West and South Side. These incidents primarily involved disputes between rival gang factions, as well as clashes involving the sale of illegal drugs. The effects of the coronavirus also go beyond hospitalizations. People are feeling restless after being cooped up for weeks. The court system and jails have also impacted the outbreak, have been impacted by the outbreak. All of these factors played a part in a violent weekend that saw murders and shootings post numbers not seen since 2015. CPD launched the Summer Operations Center, or SOC, to get ahead of the Memorial Day weekend. This citywide command center looks at 911 calls as well as deployments and a host of other information. Deputy Chief Randy Darling was able to adjust our staffing at a moment's notice using the resources available at the command center. The SOC was also able to utilize resources from Streets and Sanitation, Department of Transportation, the Park District, and more. The goal here is to coordinate city resources to prevent crime. Perhaps if residents see street lights being repaired or trees being trimmed, they will be reminded that the city has not forgotten about them. The effort is meant to promote neighborhood pride, which we hope encourages folks to call 911 when they see a suspicious person or suspicious activity. I want to thank our partners within these city agencies, and I also want to acknowledge our street outreach workers for their hard work this weekend. These are the department's silent partners. They work within the neighborhoods to identify shooters before they pull the trigger. The goal is to put these people and individuals on a different path when violence does occur. They work with the victims to prevent retaliation. I also want to acknowledge the area deputy chiefs and district commanders for their hard work this weekend. The violence we saw was not because of a lack of effort on their part. These leaders were in the field all weekend, and I doubt if any of them had a full night's rest since Thursday. These deputy chiefs and commanders were working alongside beat cops, detectives, sergeants, lieutenants, and captains as the radio calls were sent out. And I want to recognize all of the officers that worked so hard this weekend, as well as their families. It was their hard work that led to the recovery of 216 guns this weekend. 216 guns were recovered this weekend, including several weapons with extended magazines. CPD recovered 68 more guns this weekend, more than last year at this time, and arrested 86 people for gun offenses. That's 68 more guns recovered this weekend, more than last weekend, and arrested 86 people for gun offenses. We will adjust our strategies accordingly throughout the summer. The SOC in our summer plan is flexible. Among the changes we are making is the addition of our summer mobile team. This team puts more officers on the street each weekend for the remainder of the summer. In addition, we'll be pulling resources from administrative positions on a rotating schedule for deployment in prominent spots, such as along the lakefront, downtown, and on the CTA. However, officers cannot do this alone. We rely on information from residents throughout the city to save lives. I encourage everyone to call 911 when you see something in your neighborhood that doesn't look quite right. This is how we're going to keep weekends like this from happening again. It is going to take all of us. Thank you, and I would now like to call Fred Waller, Chief of Operations, to the podium to provide additional details about the Memorial Day weekend. Fred?
Thank you, Superintendent. Good morning. I want to echo the superintendent's outrage over the violence Chicago police witnessed this weekend. Gangs, guns, and drugs hold too many people hostage within their own neighborhoods. We need to stop this, and it can only happen one block, one neighborhood at a time. With that in mind, CPD launched its corridor strategy this weekend. This approach seeks to take advantage of Chicago's grid system by placing officers in highly visible locations on main thoroughfares throughout the city. Often, violence occurs on residential streets and alleys in Chicago, which all connect to main arterial streets. The idea is that would-be offenders will see marked CPD vehicles as they enter a residential area and think twice. If offenders go through with a criminal act, our officers will be there waiting for them as they attempt to flee. We will adjust our strategy throughout the summer and be sure that we are putting our assets in areas that have been hardest hit by violence. I also want to talk about an incident in the 7th District that was depicted on a viral video this weekend. Officers were responding to a large gathering on Sunday night in the area of 70th and Low when an officer observed a man with a gun. After a brief foot chase, a weapon was recovered and the offender was placed into custody. Shots were then fired nearby. A second offender was placed into custody following that incident, and a second weapon was recovered. 3 additional individuals were taken into custody for disorderly conduct for what was truly a chaotic and dangerous scene. CPD was also on hand for a large gathering on Monday in Grant Park that began by billing itself as a Memorial Day remembrance. A separate group also attended this same gathering, demanding the state lift the stay-at-home order. Our officers have extensive training in facilitating peaceful First Amendment activities. While our officers worked to ensure their rights would not be infringed on, the organizers and participants were not social distancing or abiding by the public health standards outlined in the statewide order. The group was later ordered to disperse. As you can see, our officers were busy in all parts of the city this weekend. Yes, we need to do better, and we will do better. I want to recognize the addition of Area 4 and 5, which helped our officers and specialized teams respond quickly. I also want to thank every officer that worked this weekend. This was a team effort, and I hope all of you know you can always call for help or ask a supervisor a question. The community leaders that have partnered with CPD also deserve to be recognized. These are young people, seniors, and faith-based groups that take time to meet with officers in their districts to solve problems. These efforts save lives. Your insight keeps us safe, helps to keep the city safe. We need more residents to step up to be additional eyes and ears for our officers. This is our city, and I am proud to serve the good people living on every block in every neighborhood. And now we open it for questions for the superintendent.
We did not utilize the normal 1,000 additional officers. We had several hundred that were dedicated and coordinated a little bit better with the SOC that we mentioned earlier in our comments, in addition to including other resources from other city departments. But the level of officers, again, were different than previous years. Any other questions?
Chicago Police Superintendent David Brown talking about the weekend violence, more shootings than any Memorial Day weekend since 2015. 86 people arrested, 68 guns were recovered. People are feeling restless, certainly, and that's what the superintendent said, but he mentioned that they should not have been outside. There is a stay-at-home order still.
In addition to the COVID-19 factors, also talking about this was all about gangs and drugs and the South Side, the West Side being hardest hit, as we often see. He talked about gun recoveries, but also talked about efforts to try and change things moving forward, as summer is clearly here with the summer mobile team that's been deployed, hitting the CTA, hitting downtown and also the lakefront, that ever important spot, and also SOC, Summer Operations Center, a place that is going to become more important every day as summer presses on.
And this was the first chance for them to be out, and they were out in force, but it didn't seem to make much of a difference in terms of the shootings and violence. Tens of thousands of N95 masks were donated to some of Chicago's first responders today. WGN's Julian Cruz joins us live with more on this major donation. Julian?
Dina, an anonymous donor moved by the heroic service of Chicago police officers during the pandemic, donating the money necessary to purchase 95,000 N95 masks today. The shipment from China rolling onto the United Center loading dock earlier today. The delivery made possible by Blue Flame Medical, a global medical supply and logistics company headquartered in Washington, D.C. These bright yellow boxes containing precious cargo earmarked for the men and women in blue. These N95 masks, very difficult to find, in short supply, of course, as we all know, not just here in the U.S., but around the world. Back in March, you may remember reports of patrol officers short on PPE, or personal protective equipment. Police complaining at the time that they were short on face masks and antibacterial gel. More than 500 police officers have tested positive for COVID-19. 3 officers have died as a result of contracting the virus on the streets. There are close to 13,000 CPD officers on the force. The shortages, however, we saw back in March, not as acute as before, we're told. Just a couple of days ago, CPD Superintendent David Brown again reminding his department to wear department-issued surgical masks and gloves, even if they're inside a police facility or riding inside a squad car with their partner. Julian Cruz, WGN News.
A lovely start to our Tuesday. Checking in with Demetrius Ivory. Is a lot of people trying to get back to maybe work, maybe class this Tuesday? None of it's easy when you've got the sun shining.
Trying to get back. Why is it so much harder to go back at the end of a 3-day weekend than it is after a normal weekend? I don't know, but here's what we expect. Kind of a carbon copy of yesterday. We saw a high temperature yesterday of 88 degrees. Today it's going to be just as warm. In terms of storms, slight risk out to our west. We think a lot of the powerful, severe storms are going to be west of us, and that's good news. Yesterday, most of them were south and west of us, but we did get some heavy rain at times, and boy, downstate really got a pretty bad punch yesterday. Our computer model is going to show the potential for showers and storms today. Only about a 40% chance, so this is one of those days where you want to check the radar, make sure nothing's coming your way, but I wouldn't cancel anything because of storms, at least not yet. 84, your current temperature, warm number, typical high temp this time of the year, 73. Right now we find 80 in Lansing, 81 Kankakee, Rensselaer is reading at 82. You factor in the humidity and the shade, it's going to feel like 86 O'Hare, 83 for Kankakee, and 78 DeKalb. Those heat indices quite high. You'll see the regional ones, they're even higher in just a bit. Right now we got a temperature of 78 Champaign. Look out west, rain cooled numbers. Sioux Falls, Grand Island sitting in the low 60s. Our dew point numbers are in the mid 60s, and down to Champaign, upper 60s at this time. So it's extremely humid. And again, the heat index is up to 92 in Fort Wayne. So it's certainly warmer out to our southeast. At this time, we see just a few kind of showers popping up south and west of Chicago. Nothing really heavy at this time. We're kind of sitting pretty with all that moisture out to our south and west at this time, and also northwest. The computer model is going to show the slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm popping up today into tonight. And then tomorrow, different story. Showers and storms will be likely. Warm and humid with, again, rain possible today. Again, check the radar, but I wouldn't cancel any plans. 88 this afternoon, 69 tonight, ending, showers and storms ending early. Anything that we see develop, I think, is going to be out of here quickly. Tomorrow's high temperature 84. Thursday, we're up to 80. Friday, 72. Saturday and Sunday, some sunshine. Highs in the upper 60s and low 70s. So we do cool down this weekend. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Dee. For the first time in 2 months, the New York Stock Exchange's trading floor is back open, but only partially. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo rang the opening bell this morning. The floor reopened under several new safety measures. Traders must sign waivers. The Wall Street Journal reports the waiver is an acknowledgement returning to the floor could result in contracting or transmitting COVID-19, and the exchange is not liable. There are fewer traders on the floor to support social distancing requirements. They have to wear masks and get their temperatures taken before they enter the building. And anyone coming into the building is asked to avoid public transportation.
We've been hearing a lot about people pushing to return to normal during the holiday weekend while ignoring social distancing orders. Now we're hearing from some beachgoers in Alabama about why they feel so safe. Gary Tuckman reports.
Coronavirus cases in Alabama are going the wrong way. They are trending up, but the state is now wide open for business. Social distancing is the state's rule, but that effort has often been an exercise in futility at restaurants and bars in the beach towns of Alabama this Memorial Day weekend, as people come back to party. At this restaurant and bar in Gulf Shores, Alabama, many wonder why it took this long to open.
I'm just here just to have fun and meet everybody and just be cool, you know.
Across the street, the beach is jammed. Groups are supposed to be 6 feet away from each other. Police work to enforce that. The groups are also ordered to only consist of people who live in the same household. There is no active effort to enforce that. Bailey Carr is 21. She just graduated from college.
I mean, everybody's got to go somehow. You know what I mean?
You mean die?
Yeah, but in a way, like, I mean, I don't want to die, but I mean, if that's what God has in store for my life, then that's okay.
My family has the same mindset as me, and we kind of just agreed that if we get it, we get it. We're going to handle it as a family and just get over it, because that's what family does.
When it comes to coronavirus, medical experts will tell you they're very concerned about the immediate future here in Alabama. On this beach, though, your eyes and ears will tell you something much different.
Just like the flu, right?
Well, it's not just like the flu. It's
I mean,
far more contagious.
Well, I know, but people die from the flu also.
They do die from the flu.
So, to me, that's just the way I look at it.
Do you have any concerns about being at the beach with so many people with your children?
Not at all.
How come you're not worried at all that someone could be sick and walk by you and get you sick?
Because there's enough wind and air that it's going to clear it all out of here.
Yeah, but the wind and the air don't clear it away.
Well,
there's no proof of anything like that. There's wind and air everywhere in this world.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm not worried about it at all.
And then there is the issue of masks. We saw a grand total of 0 being worn on the beach. Do you ever wear a mask?
No. My wife and kids do. I don't.
How come you don't?
I just feel comfortable that I'm going to be okay.
But the mask isn't to keep you okay, it's to keep your wife and kids okay. To protect them.
I get it. I get it. The survival rate is so high, I think...
You're not worried about them getting sick because they're going to live?
We're all going to get sick for something eventually.
President Trump is part of this conversation.
I mean, if he's not wearing a mask, I'm not going to wear a mask. If he's not worried, I'm not worried.
The president?
Yes, sir.
Speaking of masks, Alabama has mandated them for restaurant and bar workers. Some restaurants have them, but at others where we arrived unannounced and shot cell phone video, employees were not wearing masks. The manager here telling us after our visit, he has now given masks to his employees with instructions to wear them. At this other restaurant bar where we also saw no employees wearing masks, the manager told us they will continue not wearing them because she wants it that way, despite it violating the state order. Traffic very heavy in Alabama's beach towns. All nearby hotels sold out as the holiday weekend began. Alabama is back in business, COVID surge or not.
When it's my time to go, it's just my time to go, I guess.
Gary Tuckman, CNN, Gulf Shores, Alabama.
The World Health Organization says a second peak during the first wave of COVID-19 is possible, especially if countries discontinue public health and social distancing measures that help slow the spread of the virus.
Coming up, 5 more meatpacking plants report COVID-19 outbreaks. We'll be right back.
Never miss a story with WGN News app alerts. Download the free app from the Apple Store or Google Play. Then opt in for our push notifications.
9 industrial facilities in a town 5 miles south of Los Angeles are reporting COVID-19 outbreaks. Now health officials are worried those employees might have brought the virus to the communities where they live. Hermela Arwawi has more.
On a daily basis, prior to COVID-19, we can have up to 54,000 employees working in the city. So it's a community city with employees coming from all over Southern California.
The industrial city of Vernon has had COVID-19 outbreaks at 9 facilities, including 5 meatpacking plants, according to LA County health officials. The largest outbreak happened at the Smithfield Foods-owned Farmer John plant, where the Dodger dog is made, and where 153 out of about 1,800 employees have tested positive for COVID-19. Freddie Adrian is Vernon's Director of Health and Environmental Control.
I visited some of these plants. I actually visited Farmer John back in mid-April. They have, yes, people do work in close contact. However, they have put measures in place like putting petitions between where they can have a 6-foot social distancing.
Adrian says the city and the facilities are focusing on making sure sick employees don't come to work.
They have a thermometer that checks employee temperature coming into the plant, and you read out on the big screen so somebody can monitor, they can see it. If they meet that criteria that they may have a fever, which is 104, they send them back to go home.
LA County Supervisor Hilda Solis also says public health experts are making sure employees with the virus and their families remain quarantined to minimize exposure to others. And in a statement, Smithfield says, our Smithfield family members are crucial to our nation's response to COVID-19. We thank them for keeping food on America's tables and have implemented aggressive measures to protect their health and safety during the pandemic. City officials say the first cases at the plants were reported in March, and part of the reason the number of cases are growing is likely there's more testing. LA County Health Director Barbara Ferrer also says many of the workers live in adjacent LA communities, so they are monitoring the outbreaks closely.
The city says the affected plants were closed and deep cleaned before reopening. Nationwide, a number of meatpacking plants have had to shut down due to COVID-19 outbreaks, including several right here in Illinois and Northwest Indiana.
Still more to come this midday, including another look at your forecast.
And ahead at noon, splash into summer, details on pool openings and safety amid COVID-19. Plus, we're discussing entering the job market with expert tips on how graduates can get creative and find a job after college. COVID?
And actually, with
so if you lost your job, you
stressor
lose
on
your...
it.
You got that?
Jordan, is he there? Oh. Yep, you're good, Julie. Jordan, are you there? It's Julie Unruh from the studio.
Hey, Julie, how you doing?
I'm
Thanks for having
terrific.
me.
How are you today?
Great.
Thank you for being here to unravel those things which are way beyond my pay grade to figure out, right? Insurance is, to me, one of the most confusing and difficult, prospects around.
Deadline.
I'm so glad you're around to help us through it.
Glad to be here.
Jordan, am I saying your last name correctly, Wishner?
You got it.
Terrific. Okay, sounds good. Stand by. We'll be with you shortly.
Great.
There's an important deadline coming soon for people who've been laid off from their jobs and need health insurance. We're learning more from Jordan Wishner, founder and agent at the Health Insurance Shop. Thanks for joining us today, Jordan.
Hi, good afternoon, Julie. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Happy to have you because this is a tough topic for a lot of people. Can I hit you with one first before we get to the unemployment issue? I wanted to ask, in the insurance world or in the medical status world, people who have been diagnosed with COVID-19, do we know what that's going to do to their status, whether that's in a doctor's office or with your insurance company, if at all?
No. Well, since Obamacare came into fruition in 2014, insurance is guaranteed issued. They don't look at pre-existing conditions. Everybody pays the same, and rates are based on age and where you're located, the demographics. The only where this could come into play, the only product might be temporary insurance or short-term insurance where they are going to underwrite you. Large employers, if you're coming onto a workforce that's a large employer, those are medically underwritten, and that could bring risk. But right now, things are the same. Rates are the same throughout the year, and they'll change for January.
And whether you've been diagnosed with COVID or not shouldn't affect that.
Does not affect it at all.
All right, we like to hear that. Let's get on to those who have lost their coverage. They're in a very tough spot right now as we're entering summer. People's school years are ending, whether they were students or not. Tell us, too, about the special enrollment period. There is a deadline ahead.
Correct. When one loses their benefits, you're given 60 days to enroll in coverage, and that's called a special enrollment period. And that's going to be used in the Affordable Care Act, which requires that 60-day enrollment period. And they're going to require proof. So anybody who lost their benefits as of the 1st of April, that 60-day window, it closes on the 30th of this month, which is just in 4 days. So they have to make application by then if they want coverage at all. That's going to cover pre-existing conditions, especially if you've been treated for COVID-19. Anybody who's lost their job after the 1st or lost their benefits after the 1st, that 60-day period is going to go beyond the 30th. But if they don't apply by the 31st of this month, then their benefits won't start until July 1st. So it's important. Do I need benefits now? Do I still hold off knowing that I'm still in that 60-day waiting period? So it's good to go to healthcare.gov and look at your options and see if you could qualify for financial assistance. There's some plans that could cost anywhere from $0 with the bronze or anywhere from $150 to $300, especially if your income's been cut in half. There's assistance that's available to you, and it's best to go look at it. And there's 4 days left if you need coverage for the 1st if you lost benefits on April 1st.
And the most effective way to attack all of this is probably online, at least first, right? Or get on that 1-800 number?
Online right now. My business, the Health Insurance Shop, we're still closed for walk-ins. We do everything over the phone and via Skype, screen share. Soon we'll be meeting one-on-one, but I don't have a date yet. But really, it's all online over the phone, and I recommend talking to an agent.
Yeah, right. As always, the answer isn't the same for everyone. Tell us, too, if you can, where COBRA is through all of this and what kind of options are available there or what may be changing in the process.
Sure. Well, COBRA is a little confusing. If you work for an employer that had less than 20 employees, it's not called COBRA. It's called state continuation, and you're given 30 days to elect that coverage. So if you lost benefits in April, you're already past that 30-day mark. Now, if you work for an employer that has more than 20 employees, you're eligible for COBRA. And with COBRA, you're given 60 days to elect benefits. Now, keep in mind, if I lost benefits on the 1st of April and I'm going to go elect them today, you have to pay back premium for April and May. Whereas if you go into the Affordable Care Act, your coverage is going to start June 1st. So again, it's what can I afford? What type of coverage do I need? Do I really need COBRA? Is it that better of an option than going into Obamacare?
These are the difficult questions, right, that so many people are facing alone in their homes as they've been, sitting for months. People like you, a great help through all of this. Jordan, thanks for being with us this morning. We appreciate it very much. For more information, you can always check out thehealthinsuranshop.com. As always, you can head to our website, WGNTV.com/midday. Go.
And for the most part, we're looking at really warm numbers again. Yesterday's high temperature was 88 degrees. We're expecting to see numbers just as high into today. We're going to have high temperatures this afternoon climbing quickly into those upper 80s. 88 degrees is going to be the high temperature before this afternoon is done. So be prepared for a very warm day. Coming up, we're going to talk about our chance for storms and give you the 7-day forecast. We'll have that in just a bit.
Most of those people complied. Yep, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yes, an extraordinary.
This is Chicago's very own WGN Midday News.
Despite the lockdown, Chicago still had one of its most violent Memorial Day weekends in years. And now it's up to the city's new police superintendent to respond. Good afternoon, I'm Dina Bair.
And I'm Julie Unruh. WGN's Kelly Davis has more on our top story today. Kelly.
Superintendent Brown said the weekend violence was nothing short of alarming. A total of 49 people were shot. 10 of those have died, including 3 juveniles. Superintendent Brown said the stay-at-home order did little to prevent violence over the weekend, particularly in the city's south and west sides. He said the shooting primarily involved rival gang members and illegal drug deals. In years past, Chicago police have added an additional 1,000 officers during Memorial Day weekend. Superintendent Brown didn't do that this year, but there were several hundred additional officers on the streets. However, he said the department launched the Summer Operations Center to get ahead of the holiday weekend. The citywide command center looks at 911 calls and other numbers to adjust staffing at a moment's notice. Superintendent Brown says they were able to do that to respond to the gun violence over the weekend.
The effects of the coronavirus also go beyond hospitalizations. People are feeling restless after being cooped up for weeks. The court system and jails have also impacted the outbreak, have been impacted by the outbreak. All of these factors played a part in a violent weekend that saw murders and shootings post numbers not seen since 2015.
CPD also dealt with large groups, working to disperse them over the holiday weekend. Superintendent Brown said they issued 300 dispersals every day over the holiday weekend, and most people did comply. Reporting live, I'm Kelly Davis, WGN News.